Good morning, everyone. It's Karen Whooley. I'm so excited to have you here for episode 18. I am going to be changing the name of this podcast, just so you guys know. I haven't decided what it's going to be called yet, but if you have any ideas, let me know in the comments. It'll start next month. I'm just going to keep it as Coffee and Crochet right now with Karen for this episode, but next week I should have a new name, but I'd really like some input on that. I'm still going to continue with the episode numbers, so next week will be 19. I'm really excited to be here. It's been crazy, I guess, is the only thing I can say since the last time I was here. I wasn't feeling really well last week, and it definitely got better by the end of the week, but I'm still just out of it a little bit. I don't know what hit me. I mean, never had a fever. It wasn't really the flu. But I'm still just kind of trying to come back from it all. So this might be a little shorter too this week, but I'm really excited because I do have some things to show you. So let's just go right into what my projects are. So my first project is one you guys have seen before. It is this cross stitch that I've been doing. I just got this week's yesterday. Today's Tuesday. I usually record on Tuesdays. And I haven't done it yet, but I wanted to show you this is my cross stitch. So I am caught up except for right here. I'm going to try to, this was last week's square. This week's square is this one right here. So I will be working on that this week, but I wanted to show it to you. So I didn't start it because I didn't want to not show it to you. But I'm so excited with how this is turning out. I really love it. I mean, cross stitch, I never realized how cross stitch can be very soothing. I don't know. I mean, you're pretty much doing the same thing over and over again. But except for, there's back stitching and there's French knots and things like that in there. But when you need to process something, or if you're not feeling well, to do something like this really makes things clearer when you're thinking about stuff, or just kind of relaxes me when I am like I was sick last week. So doing that actually helped me feel better. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of where it works for me. So, and then the other thing, I did start working on my Audrey sweater. I showed you this yarn a couple weeks ago or so. This is Sueno by Haiku. This is the label, Sueno. Worsted, actually, it's a worsted weight. It's 80 merino superwash and 20% bamboo. So soft. This is the colorway Corny. The sweater is kind of a, it's hard to do now because I've just started. I finished the ribbing at the top. It's a top down sweater, but it's kind of a, not really a true boat neck, but very close to a boat neck. So this is where I'm at. I'm just now starting to divide for the raglan sleeves. So all the stitch markers are in there, and I did the first set of increases. You can't really see them yet. You'll probably see them next week when I show it to you. But I really love this yarn, guys. I had to rip this out twice. The ribbing, I had to rip it out twice because I had a hard time getting the increases. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's in the ribbing itself has the increases just on the edge. That's what makes it more like a boat neck. And I am loving this yarn because I've ripped it out a couple times to get those increases correct. You can tell I haven't knitted a top-down sweater in a while. So I got those increases correct, and it didn't pill, it didn't fuzz. I love this yarn, and it's so soft, and the more I work with it, the softer it gets. So hopefully next week I will have gotten past the sleeve mark and have divided for the sleeves, and I'm working on the body by next week. But I wanted to show you where I'm at and what I'm doing with this. I'm so excited because this is a sweater for me. And I actually bought the yarn before I had lost as much weight as I have. I am now down 29 pounds. I'm very excited. So I actually, when I did all my measurements again before I started, because I always highlight everything on the pattern, I could go down 2 sizes. I didn't realize this was made a little bit bigger than I was expecting, so I'm really excited. That's a little bit smaller. So I'm probably going to end up taking some of those skeins back to the shop because she will buy them back if I don't wind them. So I only wound one bag. I had 11 hanks, 10 in bags, and then one by itself. So I wound one whole bag and that extra skein. And then I'm not going to wind the others until I need them. So we'll see how it goes. But anyway, so that's what I'm working on. I am also going to be working on my sock this week if I can. It's downstairs. I forgot to bring it up, but it's still only about this big. I just have not had the brain power to work on that one. This one's mostly just ribbing and stockinette, so it was easy to do. The cross stitch is really what really worked for me this week. So, but I am feeling better, guys. Just so you know, I am feeling better. And I am going to be doing a lot more. So that's it for projects. So let's talk about what's new in the studio. Okay, so I only have, I have 4 things to show you, but it's really one order. I don't know if you guys have heard of Montana Crochet, but she is a dyer out of, I think she's in Great Falls, Montana. I don't know if her hanks, no, it doesn't say where she's at, but I'm pretty sure it's Great Falls, Montana. And I was always attracted to her colors because she has a very deep, rich colors, even for her neutrals and her solids. I always tend to buy her yarns when I'm looking for a neutral or a solid to blend with other fingering weight yarns. So she did in January, she did a pre-sale for a new series of colors. And the way she dyes is just, she doesn't have like constant colors. She does like a whole series of colors, and she does pre-orders for them. And then after the pre-order's over, she dyes them all up, sends them out, and then she does another pre-order kind of thing. So she never has constant colors. Some colors come back within these little things, but it's not like you can go to her website usually and say, I want this red or this blue, and find it there all the time, because it's not going to be there. So it's done in these, I guess, swatches of colors. And she did this one on January with colors of the flora and fauna of Montana. And I was looking for neutrals at the time because I had no solids or semi-solids in neutrals. And so I ordered these. This dark one is called Plump, and it's the color here on the screen is not doing it justice. This is a really rich and shiny deep brown, really deep, almost charcoaly brown color. I don't know how else to describe it. They're both on her sock weight yarn, which is 100% superwash merino. It's 438 yards per 100 grams. So I bought 2 of these because this is such a rich color that it a little bit will go a long way in a project. So this is one neutral, and I hardly ever buy browns, and that's why this is really odd that I bought. The second one is more of a taupey brown. It's more golden than what you're seeing here. There's a little more gold in it, but still that same sock yarn. This one's called U, and EWE as U. But this is more of a light tonal that I should be able to blend with a lot of different things. So I bought 2 each of these. She's great. Here's her logo. You can look her up. It's Montana Crochet. She does also design crochet patterns, but usually they're based on whatever color palette she's releasing. So, and they're usually not rectangles, triangular shawls. So if you're interested in something like that, those are the kinds of things that she does. So I would check her out because I really love her yarns. I've used, if you have my pattern, the Cobblestone Cowl, that pattern also has Montana crochet yarn. It's the gray in that pattern. That's her color. So definitely check her out. Other than that, nothing really is new in the studio right now. I've been doing a bunch of stuff behind the scenes on my website. I just released a blog post yesterday on how you learn as a crocheter. So if you haven't gone to my website recently or not subscribed to my newsletter, make sure you check that out, KarenWhooley.com. I'd love to have you chime in on the conversation. I've already got a lot of comments, but I'd really love to hear your take on all of that. Other than that, I don't have a topic of the week for you, really, other than the fact that I'm going to be changing up this podcast a little bit. I'm probably going to do something more educational starting next week. Hopefully I'll be feeling a little bit better. But other than that, I just wanted to go through the comments from last week. Last week I got quite a few comments. And so I am going to pull that up right now here on my phone. Forgot to pull them up before I started. And just wanted to talk about the different things you guys have commented on here. So Carlene Roberts 6002 said, praying for you'll be feeling better. Can't wait for your next book. I'm so excited. I talked about last week that I am going to be doing a new book, and I have some of the yarn right over here. I can't show it to you just yet. I have a couple things I need to get done. That sweater and then that bamboo shawl, which you can see on this side. There's the colors. I'll probably be winding those this weekend coming up so that I can get those started. That one started, and I'm hoping to get the sweater done by the end of this week or beginning of next week. I definitely want it done and ready to seam by mid-March, only because I have some other projects that are coming that I need to start working on, and I can't get to that point. So I'm really excited. You guys are all excited about me having a book. So this is exciting. So Deb Defender 6830 said, Karen, I hope you're feeling better. If you can, a spiral binding on your book would be great. The baby band kit's beautiful, and I'm working on the pink icing shawl, and I'm loving the pattern. Thank you, Deb, for saying that. I'm glad you're enjoying the pattern. It's a fun pattern to work on. I did it in less than a week because once I got the pattern figured out that I wanted to do, I didn't want to put it down. It was so much fun to do. So I'm glad you're enjoying it too. And I'm glad you like the idea of a spiral bound. I'm still leaning towards that. I need to talk to the gal who does all my layouts and make sure that's something that she can do for me. I'm assuming she can, but I have to talk to her about it. So anyway, I'm glad you guys like that idea. A couple of you guys have said that. And Wombat of Doom 53 said, coincidentally, yesterday I was just thinking about how long I've been knitting and crocheting. My mom taught me to knit 64 years ago. Isn't that amazing? I taught myself how to crochet 54 years ago. Holy cow, that's crazy talk. I know, I think I said this last week, but I realized that this summer will be 50 years, and I'm just like, oh, it's only been 20 years that I've learned to crochet. I can't believe I can say, not crochet, knit. I could learn 20 years ago. I can't believe I'm actually saying 20 years because I feel like I'm still a new knitter in a lot of respects, but 50 years this year that I learned to crochet from my grandmother. So I'm really excited that is something that is going on in my life. So anyway, holy cow, that's crazy talk. Yes, I get that. And I will admit that I tried to learn to crochet from a booklet. I still have all the books. I should pull them out one of these days and show them to you guys, the books that I had when I was learning to crochet. I know one of them is in my closet, and I have one here because I still use it all the time. But apparently I wasn't understanding the directions very well. I was made aware that when one of the nuns in my high school looked at my work and said that it wasn't quite the way she learned, oops. And I wrote back to her because I went to Catholic school too. I had nuns in elementary school and in high school, but I was beyond, there was really no one, well, I can't say that because there were teachers that knew how to crochet, but they never really saw, it wasn't like an elective or anything. But in grammar school, in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, we got to take an elective, and every quarter we got to do something different. I mean, I took bowling a couple times, and we did other things. But one quarter, I think it was a quarter. It might have been semesters. Now I'm thinking about it. It was semesters, and one semester I decided to do the crochet class because I thought, I only learned from my grandmother. There's probably other things out there. Well, what I didn't realize was that it was a beginning crochet class. And one of my friends who was a year ahead of me at St. Michael's reminded me a few years ago that I was the one who taught her to crochet because I knew more than the teacher did, the nun who was teaching. I think it was a nun and a mom. And I knew more from all of the experience I had with my nonna. And so I was there basically teaching the class. I was teaching people how to read the pattern because we made those. I still have the pattern. I should pull that out too. It was, I don't know if I'm aging myself. For those of you who are a lot younger than me, you don't remember dittos. But dittos were like photocopies or, copying on the printer. Now, back then it was a ditto machine. And we had the ditto of, and I still have it, of the pot holder that we made. And it was just a round pot holder. It was done in, I think my mom probably still has it in her kitchen somewhere, or my sister or my dad probably could find it for me. But I remember it was orange and a green edging on it because it was around Halloween time that we were working on that. And I was teaching people how to work in the round. It was all double crochet except for a single crochet edging around the last row. That also made the little hanging hook. But I do remember being in that class. I can still remember being in the library because that's where we had that class, in the school library, and people sitting around the table and coming up to me. I'd be sitting in my chair working on my project. People come to me and go, Karen, show me how to do this again. And I remember doing it. And I was probably in 6th or 7th grade because my friend Debbie, who tells me that, she was a year ahead of me. So she was either in 7th or 8th grade that year. But yeah, so, I've been teaching for a long time, longer than I even remember teaching. So, but that's all my comments today, guys. And so I just wanted to pop in. I was hoping to have more for you today. I was even planning to do some sort of educational piece, but a friend of mine needed some help this morning. So I'm recording this in later afternoon. And so I just want to make sure that I didn't miss this week, but I will be back next week. And I hope you guys have a great day. Have a great weekend. Have a great rest of your week. Thanks for being here, everybody. Love you guys. I will see you next time. Bye, y'all.